Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, go ahead and leave a 5-star review. This episode is sponsored by Cushy Dreams. They are my go-to for all things CBD related. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. Go to cushydreams.com. That's Kushy dreams.com. It's CBD that ships directly to you. It's legal in all 50 states. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. There's different indica sativa blends like relax, dream, energy, peace, hustle, create. So whatever you want to do with your day, I want to be a little bit more up, a little bit more down, relax before bed. They've got your back. Everything is hand rolled. Nothing is machine trimmed. They're super obsessed with quality. I really love the 5-packs. I like the pre-rolls myself just because they're handy. It fits right into a purse or a pocket. It's really super high quality stuff. You can go to cushydreams.com, check out their lab results. They post all of the tests they do for compliance and purity. And I'm a big fan of all their stuff. Go to cushydreams.com and at checkout, use promo code CMP. You are going to get 20% off every single order. Check out some of my stand-up dates. I'm going to be doing stand-up in a city near you. My people in New Jersey. Tomorrow, I'm going to be out there on the Jersey Shore, headlining Bird and Betty's in Beach Haven, New Jersey. Then this weekend, I'm heading to New Orleans. August 13th and 14th, I will be at the Comedy House out in New Orleans. And then Comedians of the Compound will be in Las Vegas September 10th and 11th. We'll be at the Plaza Hotel performing at the Comedy Works. And then I'll be back in Texas September 17th and 18th, headlining Hyenas in Dallas. Then Comedians of the Compound will be out in Lakewood, New Jersey, doing the Blue Claws Stadium October 16th. And then October 22nd and 23rd, I'll be heading out to California, headlining 4 shows at the Broadway Comedy Club West out there in Santa Monica. And I'll be joined by Bridget Fetisi and Sam Tripoli. So if you're in California, those are the shows to go to. I'm really excited that all those guys are going to do shows with me. It's going to be great. I'm so excited to have this gal on the podcast today. She's done the pod before. You know her. You love her. She's America's MILF. She's an anal queen. I think I botched that. You know her. You love her. It's Cory Chase. Hello, Cory.
Hello.
Like
we got it.
Just bring me up as an anal queen.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I do every other guest.
That's fine. National treasure, American's MILF. Yeah. Whatever.
You are a national treasure. I was out in Florida was it May? Was it May when I did like Boca, Palm Beach? And yeah, you came out. You came to one of my stand-up shows. Mm-hmm. It was so exciting. You sat right in the front row. And I think I had told the host of the show, and it was this comic, Esther Koo. I was like, I have some friends coming. I have some like porn friends coming. And I think she tried to do like some crowd work with you guys. Like, oh, are you Chrissy's porn friends? And I think you just, did you guys like not respond? I remember it being really funny because you like.
No, we did, but she kind of fed off of the guys, the 2 like older single guys behind us.
Okay.
She was like playing off of them a lot more.
So you felt ignored. Yeah, she should have paid more attention to you.
I like Esther.
I know, I like her too. It's funny when you have somebody who hosts or new people that come to comedy shows that maybe don't know, like the person that's hosting can also headline, but somebody came up to Esther at the end of one of these shows in Florida and was like, hey, no, you were really good. Like you could headline one day. And Esther's like, I do headline. They're like, you're funny enough. You could do more than 15 minutes. And it's just like, people mean it as a compliment, but it sometimes comes off like pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm glad you guys came. So let's catch you up with everybody, what you've been up to. Your Instagram was deleted.
Yes, recently. I think it's been almost a month ago. I gave it some time. I was trying to work at getting it back, but Instagram COVID reduced employees, so it means that they have less people monitoring, but somehow they found out a way to remove me, my actual account, and keep all the nice fake accounts out there. So I just started a new one. Now it's official. I've been married for 15 years. So now I am MRS Cory Chase on Instagram.
Wow, congratulations. Oh my gosh. Let me know where to
No.
send a gift.
On my Amazon wish list, there's an address. All the links
Ooh.
are in my Linktree account.
Okay. Oh gosh, amazing. Before I miss these super chats, B Jordan says Ms. Chase, and maybe it should correct it to say Mrs. Chase. Ms. Chase, love your work. Where'd I put my MILF glue? Lol, hail, Chrissie and Cory.
MILF glue. I should come up with a line of like lubes or something that is called MILF glue.
Yeah, or like well, what's the opposite? Like unstuck? Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
always getting stuck. Like glue, like a glue remover or something, or like a Nick Nero says, "Holy F, Cory and Chrissie, Sexy Stream 101." Aw, thanks, Nick. Wow, the chat is everyone's so excited to see you, Cory. Do you remember what your Instagram got deleted over? Do you remember what post it
They
was?
said that I went against community guidelines, and that because I did go against community guidelines, they didn't tell me how, what, where, or when, or find a way to remove it. They just said you can't get your account back. So I'm like, I'll just start a new one.
Wow.
It's actually kind of refreshing, I must say. Having my Instagram deleted completely and starting fresh, it's kind of made me find a way to like be a little more productive when I'm on there, and then make my timeline a little prettier, if you will. A little
Wow,
more.
good for you for looking at this in a positive manner. You're like the only person who's like, you know what? It's a fresh start. Everyone who I've talked to who's had an Instagram or a Twitter deleted, they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I lost all these thousands of people. Like, I'm ruined. My YouTube traffic is in the toilet. But I like that you have a positive outlook on it. And you're like, you know what? New Instagram, who dis?
I'm the best at turning lemons into lemonade. I mean, I had a lemonade stand when I was a kid, so maybe that helped me out.
Aw.
I did notice a drop in like people coming to my OnlyFans when I was telling them that I was on, stuff like that. But now that I've been on for maybe a couple of weeks, I'm getting people who are organic, who are actual, I guess, human beings behind their cameras and their phones
Real
and
humans.
their computers. So I don't know. It's a better response now than before.
Wow, that's really good. And how do you deal with like you have so many fake accounts, there's so many people, and I don't like fully understand why. I wonder if it's because people are like, oh, well, Cory's so well known. I'm gonna start a fake account. I'm gonna like take all her photos, and then what is the hope that they'll eventually try to like con someone out of money?
Yeah, that's most. I'm assuming what they're getting at. They're trying to get money out of them. So you follow a fake Cory Chase, they start DMing you, and they're like, "Oh, well, just send me a gift card at this email address or whatever." But like, if the email address doesn't coincide with the username, and then your WhatsApp or your Cash App has like a completely different name, then me, Cory Chase, I mean, that should like throw up red flags right there. So
Yeah, it's like, please send this gift card to Bob Smith. You're like, hey.
yeah, so I don't know. And why are you sending people money over like social media accounts? Like they have so many other apps like GoFundMe and amazing other apps that you can be using to send money back and forth that you shouldn't. And I don't like begging for money either. I'm usually giving you something for whatever money I'm asking for.
Yeah. And anybody who like has heard you speak, I don't know, or like knows you kind of a little bit would be like, you don't come across like you're not this like, oh, and buy me stuff, send me money. Like, I don't know. You want to put out a good product, and like you're a good, I don't know. I feel like you're a wholesome. You're like a wholesome
But I
image.
have a sick mom somewhere
Mhm.
in Arizona that needs money, so just send me money is what they always say. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I'm
Cory
a
will
grown
never ask
adult. I
you
can
for
take care of
money.
myself.
Cory is not going to ask you for money. It's like, right, people have Patreons. There's OnlyFans. That would be like the place to go if you want
Hmm.
to support what you
Hmm.
do.
Yeah. Not send somebody over WhatsApp that you've never even seen before. Okay.
It's frustrating. So yeah, all you can do is just keep putting it out there like this is my only account, I guess,
Yeah.
and like
Like
I'm not gonna.
now it's Telegram, there's Clubhouse. Um, there was a couple of other ones. I recently got some messages on some accounts like, "Are you on such and such?" I'm like, "No, no, please."
You're like, great. So I just sent an edible arrangement to a total stranger. Yeah, don't
Hmm.
get
Hmm. It's
don't
usually like
that.
cash.
Oh, cash, right. Ugh, that's frustrating. What I want to know, do you talk about like were you based out of LA at one point and then moved? Were you part of that shift, or have you always
No, I've always been in Florida.
you've always
Well,
been
yeah, pretty
a
much
Florida
always been in
person?
Florida.
So how do you feel like the industry is different in different states? Like, did you ever spend a lot of time working in LA? Do you feel like you've worked like a lot of the country? Or
I've
have
pretty much worked mostly in Florida the last few years. And when I say few years, it's only been like 5 years of my whole 15 years like in the business. Actually, almost 20 years in the business. Going out to LA, I the most 2 weeks I've spent out in LA. It's different ish. I don't know. It has a lot of similarities to doing it out here in Florida. But it's always different when you're working for somebody else than working for yourself. So
yeah, and you're kind of like you're your own boss, which is so
uh-huh.
exciting.
Yeah. And I am so astonished at everything that's available for these people in general nowadays to make money. Like if I had all this stuff at my access, I couldn't even I don't even know. I don't even know where I would be right now.
You mean
Like
like
it would
10
be
or 15
crazy.
years ago or
Oh
something, or
yeah.
when you first started? Yeah.
Yeah, if I could be 18, 20 all over again, oh my gosh.
It would just be like steady. Like that's what I'm realizing too. Like I could be selling pictures of my butthole for $1,000. And like I would tell my parents, like, don't send me to college. Like
Hmm.
just get me a camera phone and a stand, like a somewhere to balance my phone on. Yeah. I know. It's like they have the world kind of at their fingertips. Like you really can, I guess now it's like you don't really need to work for anybody unless you really have like mainstream aspirations. If you're like really
Hmm.
gunning for that like AVN or XBiz or something award.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you're doing that, you're not making money for yourself. You're making money for somebody else. So
Mhm.
now the yeah, everybody can just make money for themselves, which is amazing.
When did you start? Like, do you remember what year that you were like fully just working for yourself?
2009 is when I quit my full-time job and did this
What was your
full.
full-time job?
I was a paramedic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a paramedic. I did interfacility transports. So when somebody went to a hospital and they needed a procedure or treatment that wasn't provided at one hospital, I would transport them to another hospital. So it was a lot of like ICU patients, NICU patients, um, and when helicopters couldn't fly. See, we're in Florida with really bad weather, so when the helicopters couldn't fly, trauma patients, we were the ones transporting.
Did you get hit on a lot? Like, I imagine you're in the ambulance, somebody is bleeding out or something, or like they're, they don't have all their wits about them. They maybe don't like have their filter going. And they just have, would you get hit on a lot in the ambulance? That's what I'm imagining.
Hit on every once in a while, but some of the comments and some of the old men, like we would transport patients. So let's say grandpa falls at the nursing home and he gets sent to the hospital and he's either in a wheelchair or bedbound for some reason. So the ambulance company would be transporting the patient back instead of fire rescue. How many times I've been like groped, like, oh, I'm falling as he's coming.
I can't get up. It's like, you can get up.
Oh.
So you've had grown men fall into your boobs.
Oh yeah. These are
wow.
life preservers in so many ways.
Like, don't go for the railing. Go for go for my boobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the butt too. Like you turn around,
blatant groping.
Like they're yeah.
Blatant Cuomo-esque groping going on. Wow. And like, how would you respond?
I would be like, oh, I'm so glad you caught yourself.
So you were like good humored about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, because it was harmless. It was harmless. Because usually by that time they're laughing and I've got them strapped down to my gurney now and their hands are tied.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Cory Chase in bedbound. Like that's I'm imagining a whole scenario. Yeah. You're just like tying down grandpas. But good for you. You're not trying to Me Too anybody. You're not trying to Me Too as 75-year-old.
I've had indecent proposals where like I've had millions of dollars told that they would pay me to take care of them for the rest of their lives.
Really? Who? I'm like an oil tycoon, like a Saudi prince?
Just some old guy.
Some old guy.
I don't know. No big names, at least no one that I would recognize.
I mean, so you'd be picking him up from off the floor and he was like, look, let's make this permanent.
Yeah. It's more of like, hey, I'm terminally ill. I want you to transport me to Texas, be my in-house like nurse, and then smuggle me over to Mexico so I can get the stem cell treatments that I want to get to try to fix whatever my problem is.
Oh wow. And you're like, no.
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry.
But thanks.
Human trafficking is not my deal.
No. Bweezy Bird, thanks for the super chat. I was there at the Boca, Florida show with my Barbie girlfriend where Cory showed up to support Chrissie. Oh, wow. I wonder where you were sitting. I'm sure I saw you and talked to you.
Off to the left.
Wow. Thank you, Charles, for the super sticker. Oh, wow. Is Aaron Berg watching this from Twitter? What's up, Aaron Berg? So exciting. Yeah, I actually have, I'm trying to work on my merch and I have a person who is making like little guns for me, like little merch guns. And like, I am not familiar with this world. I'm trying to get more familiar with it, but it's like a little 2-shooter. I think it's called a Derringer. I think it's called a 38. A special or something. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a picture and show it. But yeah, so I'm branching out with my merch. I'm trying.
Oh my goodness. Is merch still in?
I don't know. I'm also having like jizz towels made. Like my show on Compound is called The Wet Spot. So I'm having these like little, I guess, right. What do you call them other than jizz towels? They're just like little towels.
You need to have like those little wet naps. You know how like Neutrogena have those makeup wipes?
Yes,
like
I love those.
Single wrapped little wipes.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, like a little booty wipe.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. I'm still stuck on this, like you as a paramedic. Like, how have you not done that kind of like role play yet?
I've done some, like the nurse stuff. It's more nurse stuff than anything. It's kind of hard to find ambulance and like all the equipment and stuff to be able to do a porno in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If anybody in the chat has access to an ambulance, I feel like we need to make a connection. So how did you, so I imagine like while you were working as a paramedic, you were beginning to put a toe into the adult industry. That was, were people that you were working with like finding out about it? Like, did you ever get like outed? Was there any,
supposedly after I left, my work had already known that I was doing everything. They didn't bring it to my attention. I tried not to do anything like that kind of work related at my full-time job. So I try to keep everything separated as much as possible to keep it under the radar.
It's so true. That's the best advice I could tell anybody. It's like, I've had so many jobs where like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Like, I wish I could go back and like say, oh, I'm just gonna sleep. Like, don't ever. Every time I've told somebody I've done comedy, it has gone to bite me in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, you have coworkers who show up or something, and then they can't shut up about it, and then they're like, oh, is this? So this is what you really want to do? You don't want to answer phones for the rest of your life? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, you live, you learn.
And my partners, like my partners that I had for a long time knew, and we would chat a little bit about it, but they've always been super cool.
Okay. We have people in the chat who have access to ambulances. Johnny in, I assume that's Cleveland, has access to an ambulance, but he is too far from Florida. I mean, put some miles on the thing. I can turn my van into an ambulance. Then we have a vanbulance. That might not be good.
Actually, the ambulance that I did drive was an E350, so it was a van.
All right, that works. So you just said you were married. You're married to a fellow performer, Luke Longley.
Yeah.
What is it like? How long have you guys been together? How has it been? How's your working I mean, have you worked together on a lot of stuff? How do you handle potential like jealousy when you guys work with other folks? Like, how does that all work?
Okay. So me and Luke have been together from like day one of us being in the industry. 03 is kind of when we started to really dabble in it a little bit more.
How did you meet him?
We were both in the military. We were both in the same unit. Yeah. And then we were dabbling together a little bit. He liked videotaping himself having sex with his girlfriends. So that's it. And then I found out that I got turned on knowing that I was being videotaped. And it just leads one thing to another. And back in the early 2000s, pictures were really big, or really the only thing that you could really upload to the internet. So I was doing the hot girlfriend contests and winning. And then videos started being able to upload and viewed over the internet. And I did what every girl is doing now, or every couple's doing now, with like uploading pictures and videos to this website called Southern Charms, where it was like a membership site, and it was just one thing led to another. Well, anyways, we've been doing it together for many, many years. It started out with just me and him working together. We would dabble a little bit in the swinger lifestyle because it kind of coincided with each other. And then I started working with big companies. My husband, Luke, found out he didn't really like working with them, but I mean, I don't know. It's work, and it's not work, and it's fun, and we talk about it. I guess we just really have really good communication skills. When I come back from working, I tell him what happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. So the wet and dirty. And then when he's working with other models, I'm usually there filming it or in the gist of it all, and working too. So
you will be more often than not like away from him, working like away from him, and then like usually you're involved when he's with somebody else. That's just how it works out.
Yeah.
does he have any particular thing like that I mean, each of you must have certain like maybe like buttons or triggers or things the other person doesn't like that you try to avoid, or are you guys really just like pretty much okay with whatever?
We're pretty much okay with everything. There was a little point like in the beginning, it was just anal sex was just his. Like nobody else was allowed to like fuck me in the butt.
Your butthole was all for him.
Yeah. But now it's open. It's been open to everyone and almost anything in a while.
You hear that, chat?
Yeah. So, no. Like I kiss my other performers. I want him to kiss other performers. He shoots a lot of POV stuff, so I don't know. It's easy for us. I just hear a lot of horror stories from girls that are like, oh, my boyfriend was doing this behind my back and my girlfriend was doing that behind my back. And it's just like, well, why? Like, why weren't you there? Like, why didn't you guys communicate ahead of time? It's weird.
You think it could all be avoided?
Generation, I guess.
You think it could all be avoided with communication? Like if you have something that you really want, like your partner should be able to hear you out. I think that's why so much cheating happens. It's like it's either you have something unresolved with the other person and you're looking for an escape, where this person has like cut off from you emotionally, physically, and you're like, I need physical validation, like I need to feel good, and I'm gonna get that like however, you know what I mean? It builds up to a certain point, like I'm gonna either get it from you or the guy who delivers the newspaper. Or it's like I have this kink or this thing that I really want to do and I don't feel like I can do it with my partner, or they have this complex
but
of like,
you should be comfortable with knowing that they're only fulfilling this kink that you may not be willing to do with that person. So going and seeking that out with somebody else, I mean, should be okay. You shouldn't really should be that jealous about that kind of stuff. If you are, then you should leave, because obviously you can't fulfill that person and they're not fulfilling it back to you. So you should be looking somewhere else anyways.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have the fear that like if they really open up their relationship, well then like that person will leave them for the person who I guess, you know, they can share that kink with,
but they're out doing that anyways behind your back. So why not open it up? And sometimes just allowing it to be open. And I'm going to tell you, like in the beginning, we have had our rough patches. It hasn't been, oh, it's fun and dandy. Like we've had our rough patches, but again, the communication and us talking to each other and like working through it just makes it better. I don't know.
Do you guys have kids?
No.
Do you feel like, oh, not with each other. Do you guys feel like, see, I think a lot of people like they end up cheating and they're not real with who they really are or what they want and their partners, because they're like, well, I can't split up the family. Like I can't, you know, like I can't tell my kid's mother the truth about XYZ because then she'll leave, and now it's affecting these kids. So it's weird. Like I can really understand like wanting to keep a family together, but like I just think back to my parents and it's like they were not making each other happy, and they were not doing a good job of hiding it from me. I don't know, like my brother and sister, if they were, but I just was like, oh my God, I look at them, I'm like, married people are unhappy. They're constantly cutting each other down. They're passive aggressive. They can't wait to get away from each other. I almost would have rather them kind of break up than for me to just like watch for, you know, up until I went to college. Like this is my example of partnership.
Yeah. So like you should definitely, if you're not happy, then talk, communicate that out and find out what you guys need to do to fix it.
If somebody, because I know there's probably people like watching and listening who are like, okay, but I've never even a little bit broached this topic with my like partner, girlfriend, whoever, and they're afraid to, like, how can someone kind of like wade into that? Just anything. It could be a kink. It could be just like wanting more of something. You know, people
like,
say always like communicate more, but it's like, what if someone is just
pictures, videos does help. I think kind of break that ice and just kind of like trickle it in there. Like when you're in a situation that you might be a little bit more like, I don't know, like if you're trying to bring in another girlfriend, like if you're deep into sex and you've of course made your girl actually come a couple of times, like
Why do you put that in quotes?
then maybe like and you're in like around other girls, like you could tell like, hey, like if you want your girl to start pointing out other girls to you or something like that, then maybe, hey, point out a guy that might be hot. And then
that is something
up that
so many guys are not willing to do that. There's so many guys that I think like, oh yeah, of course I'd love to have another girl in the mix, but they would never dream of even thinking of having a guy in the mix, which is like hypocritical, but I get it because a lot of men are like, no, like only one cock on the scene, and that's mine, you know?
But if you want your girlfriend or to be allowed to have another girl in the room, and your girlfriend really wants another man in a room, you should be able to go both ways.
Hear that, men? Charles Hurst, call them happy socks. I don't even remember what that's in reference to.
Oh, for your jizz rags.
Of course. Okay. Yes, happy socks, but it's not really like a sock.
Well, he's just thinking about men in general.
Oh, yeah.
Like doing boys and girls.
Luke Longley seems like a cool guy. He is a cool guy.
He's an awesome guy.
So this is so interesting because I feel like I have so many friends that are conservatives, and I talk to and interview a lot of people who are like, maybe they're more on the right, maybe they're more like Christian conservatives, and like I feel like they're very preachy about how evil porn is and how evil like this like whatever the swinging community is and all that, but it's like I feel like deep down these people are like sexually repressed and like low key do watch a lot of porn. I just think it's important to find a middle ground. I don't know. It's all about just, I guess, being honest with yourself, you know, and it's so easy to preach though, because you're the only person who knows the truth deep down. No, I just think this is so interesting because you guys are like so open, and I feel like the communication has to be so good. And I think with a lot of couples, and I've even been in this position myself in past relationships, where you really do think that a three-way it's almost like a three-way. You think of it as like a baby, like this is going to save the relationship. Like, oh, it feels stale. And I know, because I'm definitely like classic female people pleaser, you know, and I was like, oh sure, like you really want this three-way, like let's do it. And I was not in the right place to do it. Like I didn't even know that I had like rights, that I could say things I wanted. He just like picked some girl and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing it. And I felt worse after, because in the moment I was like, oh, I really want to please this guy, I want him to like me more, so I'll do this thing. I mean, I ultimately, like after that relationship, was genuinely into it, but just the way it went down with him really wasn't good. And so how can you tell if like your relationship is in a good enough place where you should entertain that, or what are some signs that you really shouldn't look into bringing, you know, another person in? Or
well, if one or the other is really jealous at just like looking at some girl, or if you find that your significant other is like constantly on their phone, like chatting with somebody, and you're like, well, who are you chatting with? Like all that, you should not be doing a threesome. I'm trying to think back, like how did that all like start? I think you definitely have to be comfortable with like watching porn with your significant other. Like if you're down with like watching porn and you're both getting off, and maybe even like you can get each other, like yourselves off, laying side by side while you're watching porn, and like still be happy with that. I think that's a good place to say, okay, like we could possibly bring, because that's almost like bringing in a third person. into the bedroom if you're watching porn while you're playing with each other or playing with just yourselves.
Like it feels like there's more people there, right?
Yeah.
And also like porn is very good because it can explain in visuals what might take longer to explain in words. If you're like, oh, I want some scenario where I'm like out at a bar and then a guy comes up to me like well dressed in a suit and then like, you know, just starts like fingering me, right? Like, or whatever. It's if you're like, okay, I found this video of this exact thing that I want. Boom, like let's watch this together. I think that is a really productive use of porn. Like people love to talk all about how horrible porn is and just like any other vice, like, you know, if you are like a addict prone, like a addiction prone or have some other like unhealthy patterns, like of course like anybody can abuse it just like any other vice, just like too fast of a car or alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Social media.
Yes, oh my god, I would argue that social media is even more damaging of an addiction than porn is, but like that's the thing, is the people who are addicted to porn are like really addicted to porn. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. And I've talked to so many like even girls in the adult industry that are like, oh, okay, like actually the less you can watch the better. I think, who was I talking to? It might have been Brandi Love might have said it at one point. Lisa Ann, I think when I was talking to her, she was like, generally like you could be watching less, but I think we had been talking about like men maybe who are having like trouble, you know, getting it up for like the real life girl they're actually interested in.
Well, because you fall into this fantasy, and I think with everything going on now, we are so like involved into what's going on our screens that we've lost that personal connection, that human to human connection, that it's like we completely disconnected from that touch and being able to respond to how somebody is actually interacting with you instead of what's in your fantasy head of what's going on your screen too. So
yeah, I just remember being in like 10th grade or something and like Tom Tracy were in his basement. He was like fingering me and it was like the best thing ever. And it's like it was before any of this shit. It was just like, just remember being like a teenager or whatever. And you're like, everything was such a big deal. I always, if you're watching Tom Tracy, no, he's probably not. I don't know. It's like if we could get back to that, not being like, you know,
but that was your
in 10th
first
grade,
time.
but
Your first time is just like the first time you do drugs. You're always chasing that dragon.
True. It was definitely like the first guy that I really liked that was touching me, and I was like, holy shit. Like he was like the cool guy. He went to the all boys school. He invited me to the junior prom. It was a big deal. I think he got fat though. Hold on. I'm on a tangent. Okay. So it's really kind of amazing that like you and Luke have this. Yeah, the chat is saying like this is such an exceptional relationship. Like most people are gonna end up ultimately somebody's gonna get jealous. It just doesn't seem like sustainable for most people. But I wonder if that's just due to communication. Like they have, you know.
It's not like me and Luke are having sex 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're bringing in people left and right and left and right. Like there are times when it's just the two. There's a lot of time when it's just the two of us. I mean, we're always attached at the hip, but like, I don't know. You have to find that balance. And I guess the communication is one thing. Just finding your partner's and yourselves rhythms, I guess. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, you have to just keep talking about it, like, and you have to know yourself really well first.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to be definitely. You have to do love yourself before you can love somebody else.
You have to self-love. Yeah, and you know, love yourself while watching Cory in a video. Let's talk about genres. When did you start to notice like stepmom stuff to really get popular? When did you start to notice the stuck category to become a thing? That
The
feels new.
stuck stuff has probably been the last, I don't know, 3-4 years. I don't know. These last 2 years have like just flown by. The MILF stuff, I started doing that like, I want to say 07. So that was a long time ago.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then I would probably say maybe the last 5 years, 6 years, it's been really big. But this past year or so, we've kind of pushed away from that a little bit.
Because of the like sort of incest vibes
Yeah,
of
not
it.
the incest. I think it's just because we're having to say the step all the time. Like, because the true family role play is what I like to call it, because we're obviously not brother, sister, mom,
Right.
dad, all that kind of stuff. So it is family role play. That I'm okay with saying, all right, I'm your stepmom. You're over the age of 18 for consent and all that stuff. But like the whole thing like is saying mommy and daddy, and like girls have been calling their man daddy forever. But now
Forever.
in porn, you can't even say daddy. Like you're not
What?
a
You
sugar daddy.
can't?
Yeah.
Can you say
No,
father?
you can't say father, you can't say dad, you have to say step.
Wow.
So it's your step sugar daddy instead
Because they
of
want
dad.
to avoid like, yeah,
Yeah,
the
because
incest
they
stuff.
were going after all my videos where I was saying like mommy, and then they're like, no, you can't say that, and then all the daddy videos were staying up. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well, if we can't say mommy, technically you shouldn't be able to say daddy too.
And
So
who would come after the videos?
the Pornhub, when they went through the whole lawsuits and they're going through all that, they just pretty much just removed anything that had like a family role play in it. And I think what they did is they put all their videos through a closed captioning program. So the words were just popped up left and right. And they're like, okay, this one's deleted, that one's deleted, this one's deleted, delete, 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 delete. And then probably half, if not 3/4 of their content was gone off of their website, which helped us as models because all our stolen content was removed. But then it's like, all our content was removed, all the views removed, and then the rankings got all messed up, and
Oh,
it
man.
was crazy.
Are there any genres that you don't like? Are there any genres or like types of scenes that you just absolutely refuse, like won't touch?
All the illegal stuff.
Okay. That makes sense.
all the straight up just illegal stuff I won't touch. But I'm not willing to say no. Like I'm always willing to try something once and then see how I like it, if I like it. Because if I said no to things I was uncomfortable with in the beginning, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you being America's MILF right now.
Yeah.
So
And
if I said no,
I'm sure
I
people
would
hear that
say
and go like, "Well, you shouldn't, maybe if you weren't comfortable with it, you shouldn't have pushed past that. Like that was your gut trying to tell you something." And
but I was uncomfortable at the time because
mhm.
society told me, oh, you shouldn't be recorded while you're nude and you shouldn't make porn. And that's how I was taught and how I grew up. And then it's like, oh no. And then I'm like, he's like, oh, just this once, just this once. And I'm like, oh, okay. And had I not done that, then I wouldn't have found out that, hey, this is kind of amazing. I like watching myself. I like that you're watching myself and how I was pleased. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a weird kind of person.
No, you're the best kind of weird. And then you can also make an argument for, like, I look back and the things that I was uncomfortable doing, like sometimes when you're faced with a challenge, like, and you push through, like that's how you grow as a person, and that's how you step into who you're supposed to be and your purpose and your strength. And sometimes the things that scare us are what we should lean into even more. And for some people, I guess that's anal.
Yeah. And I do understand, like there's girls that are out there that have said no and they got pushed into doing something that they didn't want to do, and then they've posted that stuff, and that's wrong. That's just downright wrong. But that's that miscommunication. You didn't communicate with the person even after the fact that that was wrong, and then when you found out that it was put somewhere later on, like you have to, like right then and there. I don't know. It's just it's weird. It's a weird society we live in.
Yeah, and I think that's just all the more reason to aim to try to be your own boss and like work for yourself. And the more girls I talk to and are like more friends with, they're like, yeah, I have my close knit group of maybe like 15 people that I work with. Makes things easier. Have you noticed things have gotten like annoying or like exceedingly difficult with like COVID restrictions and crap like that popping up, or are things still pretty cool in Florida?
In Florida, it's cool. In Florida, it's cool. I got the vaccine, the shot, because I hated going and getting COVID tested. Like when I go out to California, I had to get COVID tested every single morning before I go to work.
That's
So
crazy. And
yeah.
they do like what, a rapid test, and you'd know like
No, they did the throat swab every single day. And
I'd
then
rather take it in the throat than like way up my nose.
yeah, the throat's so much easier to take.
Hear that, boys? No.
So I got the shot just for that. And plus I was in the Army. They shot me up with all kinds of stuff. So what's another one?
Yeah, I can hear that. I have friends who are like still in the military and they really don't want to get it, and they're worried with their, legal recourses if it's mandated, which I feel like they're trying to push that through.
Yeah.
It does worry me because it's like you could make an argument that like they're just trying to have people in the military who are compliant, who obey. It's like even the ones that are maybe more like liberty minded, that are maybe more like on the conservative side, like, well, if we force these guys and girls to get it, then it's like then they'll just like bend over and comply no matter what we tell them to do. And if they're not into it, then they're gonna leave.
But you've kind of turned yourself over to the government, your body and everything. So
when you sign up for the military to begin with, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you really don't have a say.
That's interesting, and that makes sense because you've actually served. So do you feel like the soldiers, like, do they have a right to say no, or do you feel like once they've signed up, it's like, well,
I think they have a right to say no. It's up to the military to decide, like, are they going to make it mandatory or not? And because it's an emergency drug and it was fast passed and everything. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But how are you really going to like make sure something's safe for humans? I mean, are we going to really wait 10 years and been in lockdown for 10 years before we test out this drug that may or may not work on something? So
yeah, the lockdowns are definitely not the way. I think they should have taken maybe like 1 million people and tested it out on them first and then like wait and see. But it's like, I don't know, the longer this goes on, the more it's like, okay, it's not about this virus. I think it's more about like how much can they control. Nelson the gentleman says, Cory, thank you for your service and all the boners.
you are very welcome. And I'll continue to help you serve that boner.
Yes, serving up boners. Chizzy, I got so many shots in the Army, I didn't get sick for close to a decade. Interesting.
I got sick from the anthrax shots. Ugh.
When was that?
03, 04, for every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks you had to get an anthrax shot?
Uh-huh.
For how long?
Um, it was a while. I want to say a few months. It was like a total of a whole bunch of shots, and then 6 months later, after you were supposed to get a booster and stuff. Yeah, it
Oh,
was like
wow.
every 2 weeks. So by
Oh,
the time your arm is like isn't as sore, you're getting another shot.
so you were kind of like used to getting a lot of shots. What were your reactions like from the anthrax shots?
A lot of that was just like you felt like the flu, like you were about to get sick, but you don't actually get sick, but you just feel like, ugh,
Under the weather, like
yeah,
pre-sick?
yeah, that
Interesting.
pretty sick. Like you don't have the energy, and you just know like you drank too much the night before, and you're feeling it the next morning, kind of feeling.
So just like, yeah, a little bit under the weather. Oh, Fap Master. 500 in a currency I don't understand. Blow dryer dollars. Since you're married, there must be times that you've enjoyed the sex with a male co-star that you've continued it more after shooting a scene. If so, is there a dynamic with you and your husband when stuff like that happens?
Uh, hmm.
Like you love working with, you've really
Yeah,
enjoyed working with somebody and you want to keep it going. That
yeah. We've had that happen a time or two. Um, Works great. Like if I'm out, but I'm always in like the business mindset. So if I'm having sex with especially a performer, like I'm videotaping it and then it just turns into work, but work that I really enjoy. Um, and then what's the last? If so, a lot of times we'll just like hang out like after a shoot, like we'll hang out, we'll might play a little bit after that. But yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just sex.
it's not a big deal, Fat Master. Yeah, they're
I
so open
wouldn't
about it.
call it. It's like it's just sex.
It's like it does take a special kind of person. Like you have to have like just that jealousy part kind of removed or like far less than the average person. But that's the thing is like I think so many of us are just so insecure and I think worried
But I
of
get jealous.
uh,
I get jealous a lot of times.
so then what do you
But
do?
it's just like it's like, oh, she's this or they have more of that. And it's like, well, then I'm just going to work harder to get that.
Does it almost like oh
It
like this
drives
girl
me.
is
It definitely
great.
drives me.
This girl's great at blowjobs. I'm gonna notice her technique, and then maybe I
Uh-huh.
can work on myself to stay at the top of my game.
Exactly.
I think
It's
that's
just a
good, but you
drive.
don't. I feel like I would hate if it got to a point where you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like because I feel like
Then I
there's
veer off and I like try something else. If I don't think I'm good enough, I just don't do it anymore.
yeah. Nelson the gentleman. Porn doesn't ruin lives. Cory helps keep me going. Helps me keep going.
Oh,
Aw.
thank you, Nelson.
I wonder if that's the same guy with the ambulance.
No, it was a different AVI.
Okay.
Unless he
What
changed his AVI.
what is your stance? Wait, that's not the one I wanted. Piggleteen, what's your stance on asexuals? Have you met any? Do you know any? I've never met any.
I want to say I could have possibly been asexual like growing up. Like I was a late bloomer, let's say that. So asexuals like hey, if you're not into the touch and the stimulation that way, like I'm sure there's something else that gets you off in some other way.
How late were you in terms of like late bloomering?
Um, like I dabbled a little bit when I was younger. I was 15 when I dabbled a little bit, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it's not really me. Like it's not my thing. I didn't really like it. It hurt, all kinds of stuff. And then I tried later on when I was 18, and it was like, it's not really me. And then I was like 20-ish, like 2021, when I'm like, oh, okay.
It can be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like me. Like, I just had a lot of bad experiences. Like, I wasn't having, like, I don't think I had, like, good sex till, like, well into my 20s. And even then, it's, like, not continual. It's not, like, reliable. Easy going Sal. Do you think porn stars have way more political influence than they are aware of? Oh, interesting question.
God. Why are you getting political influence from a porn star?
Hey, I mean, look at Brandi Love. She made headlines when she was kicked out of Turning Point
I
for
know,
being
but like,
conservative.
so
Or for being a porn star, she got kicked out. Yeah.
I know, like, I'm a porn star. I am Cory Chase. I do have another life. Granted, it's not very different from what I am or who I am, but I'm a character, if you will, that's living a fantasy. And in this fantasy world, like, there's policies and political stuff going on in this fantasy world, but yet my character doesn't live in a politically influenced world, if
Because
that
it's
makes sense.
fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
ideally, your fantasies wouldn't involve like bullshit with politics.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's concepts of political aspects, like we do the president stuff and everything. Like, it's there, but like, it's
None of
like
the bad
getting
stuff.
political influence from an actor or something. I don't know. But then again, news sucks. So, like, it's like, who are you going to get it from? Maybe you learn both sides and you make your own decisions on your own. I don't know. I'm apolitical when it comes to my social media. I try to stay very out of it.
Yeah, I was
Altogether.
talking to Elsa Jean. She agreed 100% with that. She was like, "Why would I alienate potentially like 50% of
Mhm.
like people who would enjoy me?"
Yeah, and that's not what I'm here for. Like, I should not be forcing things like that down your throat. I'm just
Other
gonna tell
things.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I could be forcing a lot of other things down your throat.
Wow, that's like a very, I mean, that's a very wise take to have, Cory. Like, I wish like more entertainers like felt that way. I mean, maybe I'm just like I don't know. I'm like a hypocrite here, right? Because it's like I'm a comedian, but I talk about political stuff. But I only started caring because of free speech, so it really just related back to comedy anyway. Um, but yeah, that's a good place to be. You're like, I'm an entertainer. Like, you shouldn't be going to me for political, I don't know, advice,
Yeah, I mean, it's
inspiration.
not like I'm doing things that are topical. Like, you're a comedian, you can talk about this kind of stuff. I'm selling sex. I'm supposed to be selling pleasure, not angst.
Yes, that sums it up. True. And it's hard to talk about. It's hard to talk about politics without it getting angsty.
Mhm.
Getting angsty. Hold on. Horny Alf from a service member of over 15 years of service and still serving. Thank you for your service to this country and to men everywhere. Love your work.
Aw, thank you so much, horny Alf.
Fat Master is back.
Oh, yes, he is.
250 blow dryer dollars. I gotta figure out what that is. So, has there any shower bonings with a male co-star after shooting? You guys always like ask about shower bonings. Shower bonings with a male co-star after shooting a scene. If so, can she share the most recent and as well as the most memorable time that happened with proper consent, of course?
Shower bonings. I've not had many shower bonings after. I'm usually covered in cum, so usually the guy doesn't want to be like all up on me with his own cum. I like shower sex. I've done several scenes in the shower. The most memorable. I'm hoping that the most memorable shower stuff going on will be in my new house that I'm building currently.
Ooh, yes. Tell me about that. That's so
Oh my God,
exciting.
it's so slow. It's so slow. It's like,
Are you
oh,
like
it's like
building it
pulling
yourself? I
teeth.
remember like you sent me photos
Uh-huh.
or like Luke sent me photos of like how it was coming along and it looked
Yeah.
really cool. Like it looks like you're gonna have like a grotto or something outside, like definitely
Mhm.
pools and
We have
looks
a
awesome.
pond with a grotto. We have a pool. We have a cabana. I'm making my own gym. I'm going to be having a 1,200 square
Ooh.
foot gym too.
I could totally see you like not being like an insufferable like fitness influencer, but I could totally see you have like having like a separate like Cory Chase fitness thing going on. Like you it would make so much sense. Like you're in amazing shape
Would
and
you follow me and do my workouts?
absolutely, absolutely. I was following this girl, Alexia Clark, for a while. And then I know it's funny, I got turned off. She has this huge Instagram presence. I was like subscribing to her things and getting these workouts. And then I think she must have moved into a new house or something because she went from like what looked like a communal, like a community gym to like a sick gym in her house. Everything was pink. And I was like, oh, this bitch is making too much money. Like I got turned off by how nice her home gym was. And then
Nice.
I just like checked out, which is I know like not the right way to react, but I just was like, I was like, I can't work out to you. I'm just too angry. Like she obviously was crushing it and very
You can
successful and
tell
like
us.
different outfit every video, every time, every color sneaker. I was like, I'm moving on. But she was great. She had great advice and great little workouts. What's your advice for incels? Like we have incels in the chat. Oh boy.
Incels. What's an incels?
Someone involuntary celibate. They are just striking out with women, I guess.
Oh.
Just
Keep trying.
keep trying. You have to like
Mhm.
really
Like,
anybody who's it's like you have to like really be okay with rejection.
yeah, and you do have to like yourself. Like if you're coming up to a girl and you're really nervous, like that's a turn off. Like you need to learn to be assertive.
Right, because if you're not confident in yourself and you're trying to hit on somebody in a not confident way, like the girl's gonna be like, "Oh, does he actually like me? Does he really
Mhm.
want
Mhm.
to go out, or is he, you're
Just
not sending a
into
clear
me because
signal."
I'm awesome and you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confidence is good, cockiness is someone's like, "I love that Cory doesn't know what incel means." Yeah, and maybe lower your standards. True,
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I don't know, I think I've always been okay with, like, approaching guys because there's so much rejection involved in comedy, like, constant, so you just have to, like, be okay with it. Nice guys finish last, bad boys finish in her face. Hey! Alright, that's true.
And
Just
lady swallow.
and right, right. That's I don't understand these girls out here spitting. To me, that's just rude. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm just a team player.
Mhm. I'm there with you.
Okay, we talked about yes, we talked about all of the things. We talked about all the things. I'm very excited for this new house. Maybe next time in Florida. Well, it might not be ready yet, but
Oh, so talking about the
eventually.
new house, it was on YouTube, This Modern Mansion, and then YouTube decided to take it all down. So,
Why? That was like your kind of real, like realtor or like real estate
uh-huh.
page, right?
So I was doing This Modern Mansion in a bikini, which was just like a Walmart bikini. It wasn't like I'm going out to the beach and I'm gonna like have minimum tan line bikinis. And they said it was too sexually gratifying. So they kind of took it all down.
That sucks.
So now it is available on my new website,
Ooh, what's
Taboo
that?
Heat. Taboo Heat.
Taboo heat.
Yeah, it's a membership site, so you get like all my taboo kind of videos, and then there's a section for This Modern Mansion, and then I'm also going to be doing all my lifestyle videos that will be like just me doing things like hobby stuff, and maybe I'll show you how to fold a fitted sheet.
I would love that. Men need to see that. You know what it is? I think men don't know how to fold fitted sheets because there's no hot girl in a bikini showing them how.
Or in the nude.
Oh my God, even better.
I'll even show you how to do hospital corners on your bed. Like things like that. Like
Ooh.
I'm just going to like I did a video where I went to Universal Studios and like I did ride reviews and things like that. So
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. Okay, and we want to talk about your abs. Is that mostly your freakish genetics? Is it mostly diet?
A little bit of everything. Definitely genes. I come from very athletic people. Diet is I do try to watch what I eat. I will try to eat more vegetables than like pastas and starches when possible, but yet I'm not going to like, no, I'm just going to eat meat and veggies. So I don't know. It's a little bit of everything. I work out a lot. I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly like standing, sitting.
You're
I
active,
also
yeah.
found out that I lost a lot of weight when I was camming, and I was camming like 6 hours a
Oh,
day. Like just doing camming and not shoving food in my mouth did help, and I was my skinniest when I was.
wow. Interesting. All right, maybe I need to start camming. Maybe that's the solution for me.
Doing the cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, definitely will get those abs cooking.
Oh, okay. I mean, and you don't even have to look at the person you're banging because it's
Yeah.
reverse cowgirl. You could be
Mhm.
on your phone. Cool, cool. Cory, where can people find you and follow you and support your work?
You can go and follow me on Twitter. It's Cory Chase XXX, and that's Cory without an E. I've been noticing a lot of people lately have been adding that E in, so it's Cory. And then you can follow me on Instagram, MRS Cory, Miss Cory, and yeah, check out my Linktree account, so you can find pretty much everything on Linktree is the Cory Chase.
Awesome, awesome. Do you have an OnlyFans? You do.
Yes, I have an OnlyFans.
Okay.
It's linked with my Twitter, Cory Chase Triple X, and like I said, Linktree has pretty much everything. It has the tattoo heat, my OnlyFans, all my social medias, everywhere where you can find my videos and Pornhub and all that stuff. So
Awesome. Cory, oh, it was so great to talk to you. I miss you.
I
Always
miss
good
you
to
too.
Oh, I have to come back to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming on. You're a delight. You're a joy.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for the comments, questions. Love you guys. Bye.